I remember hearing a story back when I was a teenager about a group of teenagers in Pass Christian, Mississippi. Now, this was back in 1969, but there was a major hurricane that was coming through named Camille. And Camille is one of the worst hurricanes that coast has ever seen and still holds some of the records for groundbreaking winds and things like that. But I remember hearing the story, and I remember hearing that there was a group of teenagers, and there was a kind of like an apartment complex that was on the shore. And the cop went to warn these people to leave the apartment complex because the storm was coming. Tell them, get out of here, be safe, all that different types of stuff. And this group came out and said, listen, this is our land. You can't tell us to leave. And come to find out, the cop did, that they were throwing a Camille party. They were throwing a hurricane party, and they were just going to party all through the night and then just stand up to Camille because she couldn't do anything to them. Well, like I said earlier, Camille had some of the most record-breaking winds and hail, and the rain, they said, felt like gun bullets being shot at you whenever it hit you. And needless to say, the cop did everything he could. I mean, came banged on their door. He even tried to find out ways to arrest the teenagers just so that he could get them away from the apartment complex when the storm was coming. Nothing worked. And those people decided to stay there. You know, out of that entire apartment complex, which contained more than just the teenagers, by the way, only one person survived, and it was a child. All of those warnings that police officer gave those teenagers and gave those people in that apartment complex were for nothing. They decided that they knew what was best. They decided that they knew what was best for themselves and what was more fun and what was more enjoyable and what they could do and get away with, that they decided to stand up against a hurricane. Now, a lot of us would say about that, like, that's ridiculous. You're stupid. Why in the world would you decide to take on a hurricane by yourself? Because you're not going to win. It's just obviously not going to happen. But you know, a lot of times we do that on a smaller scale. You have a youth pastor, myself. You have a pastor and Pastor Matt. You have a youth pastor's wife and Miss Brittany, and a pastor's wife and Miss Kelly, and your parents and all those around you who will try and warn you of things. Will say, hey, that guy you're interested in, he's not the best for you. Hey, that girl that you think is really good looking, that you want to pursue a relationship with, man, you want to stay away from that. She's not looking for the right type of stuff. And we will try and warn you. We'll try and give you warnings. But a lot of times, teenagers are just like those in Pass Christian, Mississippi, where they will stand and say, hey, listen, let's throw a hurricane party. Hey, you only live once. Let's have a fun time. Let's throw a party. Let's have a good time. I'm a teenager. I don't need to obey all the rules. I don't need to do those things. Other people have broken the rules, and they've gotten away with it. Man, all this stuff is fine. You can't tell me what to do. But let me tell you something. No youth pastor or wife of those or anything, or your parents, is worth anything if they don't warn you about coming danger. What would you have said about that police officer if he drove by the apartment complex and said, man, there's a hurricane coming, they're throwing a party? I'd hate to be them, and kept driving. We'd say, man, throw the guy in jail. He didn't even try and warn him about the coming dangers. But yet there are so many times that teenagers look at us and say, hey, don't you tell me what to do. Hey, don't tell me I'm doing something wrong, when all we are trying to do is warn you of coming dangers. Some of you guys have no idea why I'm against prom. Some of you have no idea. But I'm trying to warn you of a coming danger. Now, your parents may say, hey, go ahead, go, enjoy it, love it, have a good time. But I am looking at you saying there's a coming danger, be careful. There's a Camille coming. There's a hurricane that's coming, and you've got to get out. You've got to be careful. You've got to get away. In fact, there's a verse in Proverbs 19:20 that says this: hear counsel, receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. You know what that's saying? That's saying this: hear counsel and receive instruction. So don't just listen and say, okay, Pastor Adrian on Wednesday night is warning me about these things. Listen to it, but then hear the counsel and listen to the instruction. Say, okay, what's he saying to do to get away from Camille? What's he saying that I need to put into my life to be able to walk out of here and walk out of here unscathed or not injured? How am I supposed to do that? What am I supposed to do so that you can be wise in your latter end? Understand that without heeding warnings, there is no latter end. The idea of Proverbs 19:20 is that by hearing counsel and receiving instruction, you're going to live long enough to have a latter end. If you're not listening to people who are warning you about coming dangers, then there is no latter end for you. The point of Proverbs 19:20 is this. You have people, myself, Miss Brittany, Pastor Matt, Miss Kelly, your parents, that love you to death. And if we could, we'd stand in front of you to protect you from Hurricane Camille. But you have to listen to the warnings. I don't get up on Wednesday nights in Aftershock. I don't have Pastor Matt come down and preach in Aftershock just so we can fill the time. We want to be able to warn you, to be able to give you instruction about things that are coming your way, and we want to equip you so you know how to get out of there uninjured. Guys, we love you. We really do. We want what's best for you. Us telling you some things is not because we hate you or we don't want you to have fun. I hope you understand I love to have fun. I hope you've realized that by now. If not, you're blind. But I love to have fun, but I like to do it in the right way, where we please the Lord and we have a good time together, but it honors and it glorifies the Lord. Hey, stay away from Hurricane Camille's. My challenge for you this week is look around. Where's the storm coming from? Is it your friends? Are your friends the Camille in your life that are going to bring the winds, and it's going to bring the rain and the hail and the destruction in your life? Is it your girlfriend or boyfriend, or your interest, or your just friend, whatever you want to call it nowadays? Whatever it is, are they the one that's going to bring the destruction? What is it in your life? Is it your music? Is it your sports? Is it your recreational activities? Is it your friends? Whatever it is, look and say, man, there's a Camille coming. I need to get out. Because we want you to last until your latter end. We don't want you to be someone that we say, man, wish they would have heard, wish they would have listened, wish they would have understood and got out of there, because we love you. Look around this week, see what your Camille's are. Where are the hurricanes coming from in your life? And get the stink out of there so you don't get injured. We love you guys. Hope you have a great week.